Imagine this. It's the middle of the day, 30,000 years ago. You're standing in an open grassland with your tribe. The sun is warm on your skin. Children are playing. Hunters are returning with food. And then, the light starts to die. Not slowly, like sunset. Wrong. The shadows sharpen. The birds stop singing mid-song. The temperature drops. And when you look up, something is eating the sun. You have no science, no warning, no explanation. As far as you know, the world is ending right now. What do you do? Today we're going back in time to find out what ancient humans actually did during a solar eclipse. And I promise you, some of what they did will surprise you. Because at the end of this video, I'll tell you about one eclipse that was so terrifying. It stopped a war in the middle of a battle. Let's begin. To understand why an eclipse was so horrifying, you have to understand one thing. For early humans, the sun was the most reliable thing in existence. Rivers dried up, animals migrated, winters came and went. But the sun? The sun always rose. It was the one promise nature never broke. So when that promise suddenly broke in the middle of the day, with no warning, it wasn't just strange. It was a betrayal of reality itself. And here's what makes it worse. A total solar eclipse in any single location is incredibly rare, roughly once every 375 years on average. That means most humans who witnessed one had never seen it before and never would again. No elder could say, "Don't worry, I've seen this. It passes." There was no memory of it. No story for it. Just darkness and the terrifying question. Is the sun ever coming back? So what did the human mind do with this terror? It did what human minds always do with the unexplainable. It created a monster. Almost every ancient culture, independently on opposite sides of the planet, came to the same conclusion. Something was devouring the sun. In ancient China, it was a celestial dragon. In fact, the oldest Chinese word for eclipse, shi, literally means to eat. In Norse mythology, it was a giant sky wolf named Skell, who chased the sun across the heavens every single day, and during an eclipse, he finally caught it. In Vietnam, a giant frog swallowed the sun. For the Choctaw people of North America, it was a mischievous black squirrel, gnawing away at the light. Different continents, different centuries, cultures that never met each other. And yet the same story. Something hungry is up there, and it's eating our sun. Now here's the part I love. If a monster is eating the sun, what's the logical response? You scare it away. This is where ancient humans stopped being victims and fought back. In China, entire villages would rush outside banging drums, pots, and gongs, screaming at the sky to frighten the dragon. The Inca of South America shouted and made their dogs howl. In parts of India, people would immerse themselves in rivers, believing the water would help the sun in its cosmic battle. And the Ojibwe people of North America did something beautiful. During an eclipse, they fired flaming arrows towards the sky, not to fight a monster, but to relight the dying sun. Think about that. They saw their sun going out, and they tried to give it fire from their own hands. And here's the thing every single time. It worked. They banged the drums, the sun came back. They fired the arrows, the sun came back. Of course, the sun was always coming back. A total eclipse lasts at most about 7.5 minutes, but they didn't know that. From their perspective, they had fought the darkness and won. Every time. Imagine the confidence that gave them. Imagine the stories told around the fire that night. We saved the sun. But not everyone was banging drums. Some people were counting. In ancient Babylon, priests kept meticulous records of the sky for centuries on clay tablets. And slowly, generation after generation, they noticed something incredible. Eclipses weren't random. They followed a pattern, a cycle of roughly 18 years, which we now call the Saros cycle. Let that sink in. Using nothing but patience, clay, and mathematics, humans began predicting the exact thing that once made them scream in terror. But prediction created a strange new problem, especially for kings. In Babylon and Assyria, an eclipse was believed to be an omen of death for the king. So they invented one of the most bizarre rituals in history, the substitute king. When an eclipse was predicted, the real king would step down and hide. A commoner, sometimes a prisoner, sometimes a gardener, would be placed on the throne, dressed as the king, treated as the king, so that the eclipse's curse would strike him instead. And when the danger passed, let's just say the substitute king's retirement was very short. The omen demanded a dead king, and the omen got won. One poor gardener named Enlilbani, however, got lucky the real king died unexpectedly during the ritual. And the gardener simply kept the throne. He ruled for 24 years. The eclipse made a gardener a king. Which brings me to the story I promised you. The year is 585 BC. Two ancient kingdoms, the Lydians and the Medes, have been at war for 5 brutal years. On May 28th, their armies clash once again on the banks of the Halys River, in what is now Turkey. Swords are swinging. Men are dying. And then in the middle of the battle day turns to night. A total solar eclipse swallows the battlefield. Both armies stop. Thousands of soldiers, weapons in hand, staring up at a black sun in the middle of the day. And both sides reach the same conclusion. The gods are furious. The gods want this war to end. And it ended. Right there, after 5 years of bloodshed, they dropped their weapons, negotiated peace on the spot, and sealed it with a royal marriage. Historians call it the Battle of the Eclipse. And because astronomers can calculate exactly when that eclipse happened, it's one of the most precisely dated events in all of ancient history. A few minutes of darkness did what 5 years of diplomacy could not. The sky ended a war. So what did ancient humans do during a solar eclipse? They screamed. They banged drums. They fired burning arrows at the sky. They crowned fake kings and ended real wars. But underneath all of it, they did something profoundly human. They refused to accept the darkness quietly. They fought it, explained it, ritualized it, and eventually they decoded it. Because that terrified villager banging a pot at a dragon, and the Babylonian priest counting cycles on a clay tablet. They're the same species, the same curiosity. Fear just needed a few centuries to turn into mathematics. And here's my favorite thought. Today, when an eclipse comes, millions of us grab special glasses, travel across countries, and gather in fields to look up excited. The exact event that once made us fall to our knees in terror now makes us cheer. The sun didn't change. The moon didn't change. We did. If you enjoyed this journey, you'll love finding out what happened when two prehistoric tribes met for the very first time. That video is coming next. Subscribe so you don't miss it. And I'll see you in the past.